All right, well, good afternoon. This is a day the people of Detroit have been waiting for a long time. When I do neighborhood meetings, there's probably no question I am asked more frequently than by longtime Detroit homeowners who say, I've stayed here, I love my neighborhood, I love my house, I need some help with repairs, is there anything that you can do about it? And with the help of Councilmember Roy McAllister and the complete support of Detroit City Council, and of course with the help of Joe Biden and the American Rescue Plan, we are here to talk about an historic investment in the homes of Detroiters. And so we are today kicking off a program called Renew Detroit. We're going to triple the amount of money that is going to low-income homeowners in the city of Detroit to repair their homes. This is going to raise the housing stock and raise neighborhood values all across this city. Let me show you how it works because we're going to kick this off tomorrow. As everybody knows, the American Rescue Plan, Detroit did extremely well, and we did a series of about 65 community meetings, and while many states and cities still haven't figured out how to spend their American Rescue Plan money, Detroit City Council acted at the end of June and approved Detroit's $700 million and allowed us to move forward. And the reason we're able to roll this program out is because of the speed of the action of Detroit City Council. And everybody agreed that we have watched literally hundreds of thousands of Detroiters move out of the city in the last 20 or 25 years. We wanted to prioritize the homeowners who stayed and reward them for doing that, and that became the basis for the Renew Detroit plan. What Council did was approve $30 million in new funding for home repairs to seniors and the low-income and disabled community. And that got done in June and will start now. The funds go to longtime Detroit homeowners, and all $30 million in repairs are going to be made over the next 3 years. So, what will Renew Detroit do? It's going to triple the annual funding for repairs for homeowners. And so, here's what we have done historically. Our community block grant repair program, our senior home repair program, has spent about $3 to $6 million a year in grants. It fixes about 200 to 250 homes. There's people who are falsely out there saying the grant program for home repair was eliminated. It was not. This has been the amount of money that's been spent every year going back 10, 20 years is about $3 to $6 million. But the number of homes we are getting to hasn't addressed the problem. What Renew Detroit's going to do is add another $8 to $10 million a year on top of that over the next 3 years and do another 500 houses. So you can expect in this city, we're going to move to 700 to 750 longtime homeowners, seniors and disabled of low income, going to be able to get the help they need. Now, each one of these is an individual construction project. So you can imagine that managing 700 or 750 housing construction projects in the city, if you ever tried to get your own bathroom remodeled, imagine managing 700 or 750 of those at a time. We've got an outstanding team with Julie Schneider and Heather Z who are running this program. And we are going to start with what we heard from Detroiters needed the most, new roofs. In fact, for as long as I've been here, the #1 request on our senior home repair program is new roofs. 80% of all of the seniors who come in and want home repairs need a roof. And you can understand why that is. The other thing is that Wayne Metro runs a home weatherization program. But half of Detroiters who don't qualify for the weatherization program get turned down by Wayne Metro because the roof's leaking and they can't put money into it. So those folks, for them, has turned into a double whammy. And we all know, and we've seen what happens, the mold, the insulation damage, the drywall damage, the structural collapse, if you don't secure the roof. And so after consulting with the folks who are making these requests, we said, let's start with phase 1. let's secure as many roofs in this city as we can, as quickly as we can. And so this is only phase one, but starting tomorrow, October 1, applications open for Renew Detroit. And it's going to be roof replacements for 1,000 homes. So you'll be able to go to our website tomorrow and apply if you qualify. Phase two, we're going to come back a year from now and do 500 additional repairs, whether they're electrical or plumbing or the like. We're going to work that out in the next year. But right now, we are going to start to get people to be safe in their homes from the outside elements. Okay, who does this apply to? If you want to apply for the home repairs under the new program, there are 3 requirements. You have to be a homeowner who is either 62 years or older or is disabled. This is a senior and disabled program that was approved by City Council. This is where we had to start. And you have to have an approved poverty exemption, what we used to call HPTAP, which we now call HOPE. And basically, that is an exemption from your property taxes. 12,000 Detroiters have this, and this is what we are trying to do. A large number of our homeowners with this poverty exemption are people who lived in this city, worked in this city, paid off their house years ago, are living on Social Security now, and are at risk of not being able to pay their property taxes and maybe lose their house. And what the poverty exemption does, what we now call HOPE, means that you could potentially have almost 100% of your property taxes canceled if you're a senior who's been in the house and is of low income. Basically, $32,000 for a family of 4 or below $22,000 for an individual, you can get that exemption. And the only third criteria is you didn't already get a grant of $10,000 or more in the last 10 years. We want to give new people the opportunity to get their homes fixed up. If you fall in this category, and right now there's at least 12,000 homeowners today that already fall in this category, and I'm going to show you how you can qualify if you haven't already, you can apply tomorrow and be at the front of the line for the home repair program. So the application is at Renew Detroit. You go to detroitmi.gov, the city website, and go to the Renew Detroit link, or we've got a telephone number where you can call the folks at Rock Connection who are going to be doing this. You can start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, go until 6 o'clock tomorrow night, or you can go online tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and you can start your application process to get help from the city for your home. We're going to leave this application process open for 1 month. You don't need to be on there at 9 a.m. clicking fast. Doesn't matter. From October 1 till October 31st, you can apply and you're treated the same. At the end of October 31st, I'm sure we're going to have a lot more than 1,000 applicants. We're going to rank the applicants on a scoring system that will work like this. The highest priority will be the people most in need. First criteria is, how many years have you been in your house? People who have been in their house 20 years in the city of Detroit and owned it for 20 years are going to get a much higher priority than people who have lived for 2 or 3 years. We think this is fair. The folks who have stayed in the city the longest ought to get the highest priority. The second is your level of your poverty exemption. Those of the lowest income are going to get a higher priority than those of higher income. So you've been here the longest, your income is the lowest. These are people who in this town too often have been forgotten. You are now going to be our highest priority. Third is going to be the number of members in your household. If you're living by yourself, that's worth 1 point, but if you've got 4 grandchildren in the household, we want to secure the houses that have lots of kids in them. We have not done enough in the city to protect our kids. And so you will get priority points if there are more people in your household. And finally, you'll get priority if you're already on a wait list. There's a lot of people in Detroit already on the CDBG Senior Home Repair wait list or on the weatherization wait list. If you've already been on a wait list for a while, we are going to jump you up. And so everybody who applies at the end of October, we're going to rank them, and the top 1,000 people are going to be given a notice that we're going to come out and put a new roof or repair the roof on your house. So sometime in October, you've got to get through this process, and October 31st, the list will be closed, the ranking will be done, and 1,000 people will be notified a couple of months later that they were selected. Nobody's tried to do anything of this magnitude before, but I'm confident with our team we're going to be able to do the 1,000 repairs. All right. What if I'm already on the old CDBG repair program? We got lots of people on a wait list, been on the list for years. We now have, at this point, 1,961 seniors on the wait list. We've been doing 200 or so houses a year. At the rate we were going, we would get to you in about 8 years if you were near the bottom of that list. We're not putting any more names on that list. There's no point to it. So after today, we're not adding the old list. But you're still there. If you're there, that's okay. Even if you're on the old list, you should apply for Renew Detroit if you need a new roof. You're going to keep your place in line on the old list, and there's still money for the old list. But for most people, you're going to probably be better off on the new list. So when you go to our site and you apply for Renew Detroit, you keep your place on the old list. If you say, hey, I'm number 32 on the senior list, I waited for 3 years, you keep your place in line. If the old list gets to you first, that's great. But we're encouraging you to apply in Renew Detroit, and then you'll be able to see what happens. So what's going to happen is this. Sometime early next year, you're going to get notified. And if you're notified that you've been selected for the 1,000 in the roof repair, you know your new roof's coming in the next 3 years. If you're number 30 on the old list, you probably ought to stay with the old list. If you're number 800 on the old list, you want to be on the Renew Detroit list. You'll make that decision next year when you know what both rankings are. No, this is, you're perfectly covered. So apply for Renew Detroit. Find out what your standing is. We'll have people on the phone that will talk to you about the two programs, and then early next year you can make a choice as to whether you want the new program or the old program. The old program's not going away. This is basically just tripling the size. Now, I want to talk about the HOPE exemption, something we've always called HPTAL. And here's what it says. State law allows cities to pass an ordinance so that people of low income, seniors of low income, do not have to pay property taxes. They don't have to worry about being foreclosed on because they've retired and they no longer have income coming in. City Council has provided great leadership on this. Detroit has the most generous poverty exemption for property taxes of any city in the state of Michigan. So here's what happens. If you get approved for a HOPE exemption, your taxes are wiped out. All you have to pay is a $120 garbage collection fee. Your property taxes are wiped out for this year. Second, the Gilbert family, Dan Gilbert and Dan and Jennifer Gilbert, and Laura Granneman is here today, have been paying off your past taxes. So if you got 2 or 3 years of past taxes, Dan Gilbert and his family will pay your back taxes off for you. They've already paid off the back taxes for 1,600 homeowners. So you should have been applying for this exemption even before the roof program. But you ought to do it now. And then third, as soon as you get approved for your HOPE exemption, you now can go on the list for the Renew Detroit roof repair program. We're going to have the leadership of the HOPE program explain to you exactly how we do that. Okay, what if I don't have an approved HOPE poverty exemption? You can still apply, but you're going to have to do it quickly. You can apply for the HOPE exemption by November 12th on the website, and you can still get in. So you're thinking, oh no, I don't have a HOPE exemption now. No, if you're eligible, basically, homeowner, living alone, making $22,000 a year less, family of 4 making $32,000 a year less is the basic standard. Get on and apply now so you can still take advantage of the roof program. You can call a telephone number and we'll help you through the process, or we're going to have on our website drive-through events where you can go on Tuesdays and Saturdays through October, and folks will talk you through. And again, the Rocket Community Fund has been enormously helpful. But everybody who's eligible should apply for the poverty exemption. Even if you don't make the first 1,000 in the roof, the poverty exemption is going to be worth a huge amount of money to you anyway in keeping you in your house. And my hope is that the focus on the home repairs will cause more and more people to enroll in the poverty exemption program. I do want to say a special thank you to Dan Gilbert and the Rocket Community Fund. Laura Granneman and the team have been driving the poverty exemption effort for a long time. They've really been a major factor in this city in keeping people from being foreclosed. And so they sent door knockers into the neighborhood and community outreach. They're the big reason 12,000 people have already successfully gotten a poverty exemption. As I said, they paid off all of the back taxes for 1,600 Detroit homeowners already, so you can be in your house free and clear and not have that stress. And as we roll out the roof repair program, the Rocket Community Fund is donating the telephone services. So you can get somebody on the phone who can help you through this process. And you're going to hear from Laura Granneman shortly, but this has been just a great case of the private sector coming forward and helping us do something that other cities are not able to do. Okay, how about if I'm a roofing contractor? You can guess where I'm going with this. We're going to spend $30 million over the next 3 years. We want to spend every dollar we can on Detroit companies. So if you're a roofing contractor, Renew Detroit wants to hire you. And so we have a process for bidding. We're going to open the bids sometime this fall. If you're licensed, insured, and you need to register, go to the city website under suppliers. We will get you registered. And priority under the city ordinances is for Detroit based in Detroit headquartered company. You need to be certified that your company is in Detroit because we're going to be giving out $30 million in contracts. You get significant bonus points in that bid if you're certified as a Detroit company. And as Councilman McAllister will tell you, there is nothing he likes more than approving contracts for Detroit companies who hire Detroiters. And you want to just keep up to date on this, go to the Renew Detroit website, and we will let you know when every bid is coming out if you're a roofing contractor. You're going to be a licensed approved roofing contractor. You can't decide to go into business now, but we're going to drive every dollar to Detroit companies that we lawfully can do. What if you want a job starting on a roofing? You want training or construction. So Detroit at Work, if you go to the Detroit at Work website, we will put you immediately into training programs to become a roofer because there are going to be a lot of these jobs in the city over the next 3 years, and I'm sure many years after that. And so if you say, I don't have a company, but I want to get started, this sounds like the kind of life I would like, Detroit at Work will track you into the job. Think about what we've done here. We're using the American Rescue Plan money to hire Detroit workers working for Detroit companies to secure the houses of longtime Detroit homeowners. This is what city government is supposed to be about. And so the timeline that you're looking at, all this will be on the website, but in October, you get to apply for the roof. By November 12th, if you haven't already got a HOPE exemption, you can apply by then if you still want to qualify. Through November through January, we're going to go through and review all of the data from all the applications and create the list so that we can notify the 1,000 homeowners who will get a new roof, and that'll be announced in February. So in February, you can decide, I want the roof from Renew Detroit, or if you're on the old wait list, you know what? I like my spot on the old wait list. I'll keep that. Whichever one works best for you is the one you will get. And then in the spring, we are going to be out walking the sites, and late spring, all across the city, you are going to see people on roofs of homes in the city of Detroit doing this kind of work. And so we have not tried anything of this magnitude before. I won't tell you that there won't be any bumps in the road at all, but what I will tell you is we're going to do everything we can to secure as many houses as we can as quickly as we can. And we're very excited about this opportunity. With that, I'll turn it over to one of the great leaders in setting this program up, Councilman Roy McAllister.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for this program. When the community came to City Council, they stated, especially a number of seniors stated, you know, my roof is leaking, and that causes additional problems. I have molding, I have disturbed things that's from this roofing that is causing problems within my home. And so what we did was we came together and we spoke with the mayor and the administration. And what they did was we started talking about how we could bring a program that's going to help seniors and help people to help them along with their homes. And therefore, what we did was we looked at, and City Council came together, and we said that $30 million is going to be a good start to help with this program. So with the mayor, the administration, and City Council, the homeowners poverty exemption was brought before us. And then we stated that, well, wait a minute, what about those folks that are contractors and they need those contracts, and what about Detroiters that need jobs? And we looked at each one of those areas: home ownership for seniors, working contractors that are Detroit-based, employment for Detroiters. All this came together. And again, Mr. Mayor and the administration, I cannot thank you for working with City Council, working with the communities to bring this program together. And therefore, now there are things that are accessible to our homeowners, to our seniors, to our contractors, and to Detroiters looking for work. So with that, I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that. Thank the administration, and we are here listening to the homeowners, and we are here for you. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you, Councilman. We're going to keep talking about these poverty exemptions, and I'm going to introduce now the man responsible for moving them along, Willie Donwell, the administrator for the Board of Review. Every time a house in this city goes vacant, it brings down the property values of every other house on the block. It eventually deteriorates where we're spending $20,000 to knock it down. We wanted an intervention that kept people in their homes. And for longtime Detroiters who just don't have the income to pay the taxes, we wanted to make sure that their contributions to the community over the years were acknowledged, and they knew they could continue to live in their home without fear. And with that, let me introduce the man who's making these exemptions get processed at amazing speed, Willie Donwell.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, my name is Willie Donwell. I'm the administrator for the City of Detroit's Board of Review. I'm very proud to be a part of this process that is going on today. The homeowner's property exemption, formerly the HPTAP application, provides an opportunity for homeowners to see a reduction or elimination of their current year property taxes. For a lot of our homeowners who have always fell below the poverty guidelines and they have been struggling, this is an awesome step to get them into the PAYS program, which is administered by the Wayne County Treasurer's Office. We have to remember that we still have homeowners, besides the home repairs that they need, are still struggling with the payment of their back taxes. So the homeowner's property exemption, or the HOPE program, provides the pathway into the PAYS program, which will reduce and ultimately eliminate your back year taxes because of the assistance from the Rocket Community Fund and the Dan Gilbert Foundation. This is an awesome process to, again, maintain home ownership within the city of Detroit. The access is really very simple. You can go to the DetroitMI.gov/Detroit Renew and find the application, or you can go to DetroitMI.gov/Hope and find the application. You can apply online, or you can actually bring in a physical application. I ask today that if you're going to bring in a physical application, you probably don't want to put it in the mail. What you want to do is complete the application, put it in a sealed envelope, and bring it down to the city county building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have a very convenient drop box right behind the Spirit of Detroit, so you can drop off your application and we'll get it and work on that application to see if you're going to be qualified. The benefit to all of this is that we are working on a phenomenal process to not only help maintain and stabilize home ownership in the city of Detroit, we are creating pathways to other services that are much needed, especially to our homeowners that have been in our city for many, many years. There was an additional change in the statute. So the homeowners who are, again, 65 and older or are disability, once they apply and they're approved, they can receive that exemption for an additional 3 years without reapplication. That's also an important point. And the last thing I want to mention, if the Board of Review contacts you and reaches out to you for additional information, please get back to us as soon as possible. We're trying to complete the process of reviewing your application and coming up with a determination. Remember, there's a very, very simple way to contact us or a very, very simple way to get through the process. DetroitMI.gov/Renew Detroit or 244-0274. Remember those two things. It can get you into everything that you need to do today with all of these processes. So with that, I would just want to close by saying thank you to the Mayor and City Council for a combined effort of making this process available to our citizens. And please, if you don't ask, we can't help. Hope pays.
Did you just make that up yourself? I got a new marketing aid here. All right, hope pays. And our last speaker, it is hard to describe how much Dan Gilbert has meant to this city. A lot of cities have leaders who write checks that are very much appreciated. But what Dan Gilbert does is, writing the check's the starting point. He gets engaged in designing solutions, and keeping people in their homes has been something he has been completely focused on for a period of years. And when we started to push out this poverty exemption, he came to us and said, it's great, but nobody understands HPTAP or how it works. And they're probably not logging on to your website to navigate it. We need to send people out to the neighborhoods that explain it. And the Rocket Community Fund funded community groups that went out door to door and got 12,000 families in this city enrolled in the poverty exemption program and get out from under their property taxes. And then Dan and Jennifer Gilbert took the second step and said, for everybody who did this, we're going to pay off their back taxes with our own money, the Gilbert Family Fund. And Dan grew up in this city and wasn't living a life where he had to worry about debt hanging over him and housing insecurity. He wanted to share that experience with other Detroiters. And so they just went through, no drama, paid off all of the back taxes for 1,600 families and continue to do it. And when we went to roll out this program, the head of the Rocket Community Fund, Laura Granneman, says, your website's great, but there's a lot of folks who apply here who aren't on the internet, and they'd like to be able to call somebody on the telephone. And so what if the Rocket Community Fund paid for a telephone appointment system so that anybody who wanted to call on the phone, we could take them through it from beginning to end so they could get the HOPE exemption and then can get the roof repairs. And when you dial for help, it will be the folks on the phone that the Rocket Community Fund has donated. We benefited enormously from this partnership, and I'd like to introduce the head of the Rocket Community Fund, Laura Granneman.
Well, it is a beautiful day to be in Detroit, and it's not just because of the fall crisp weather. It is also because this is an incredible partnership, and it is going to have real meaningful impacts across the city of Detroit for longtime Detroiters and so many families. So I want to start just by thanking you, Mr. Mayor, and City Council, and the many partners who have come together over many years to build the foundation of infrastructure and partnership to make today possible. As Mr. Mayor stated, my name is Laura Granneman. I have the pleasure of leading both the Rocket Community Fund and the Gilbert Family Foundation, and I'm so proud to be here today We have spent many years in partnership with the City of Detroit and with many CDC partners across our community, going door to door to all people who are living in properties behind on their property taxes. It's a program called Neighbor to Neighbor, and we have been able to ask them some really important questions that we really didn't have information about in the past. It's pretty basic questions. What's your relationship to your home? Are you an owner? Are you a renter? How many people live in your home? Did you know that you're behind on your back taxes? And we ask whether they could qualify based on our income guidelines for the HP TAP or the HOPE program now. And what we found is that so many people really thought they could qualify, but didn't know the first step to take. And so it was really important for us to work in partnership with the city and with many others to build an easy, simple process to allow people to take that first step, to say, I think I could use assistance on my property taxes. And now, by taking that first step to get to the HOPE program, the HP TAP program, you now take many steps at the same time without even realizing it. Just by getting that exemption, you now can also get assistance on all of your back taxes. As the mayor said, the Gilbert Family Foundation has also paid off already the back taxes of 1,600 Detroit families who qualify for the HP TAP or the HOPE program. So just by applying for that exemption, you also get assistance with your back taxes. But now there's even more. I feel like an infomercial. There's even more. For 19, no, I'm just kidding. Now, in addition to that, you can also automatically get on this list to ensure that you are getting repairs, necessary repairs. And so often we've seen that many people who are behind on their property taxes are investing critical dollars into their back taxes instead of their repairs. So the relationship here was really natural and important, that if you're going to be able to qualify for that tax exemption, you should also be on this list for repairs. So today's a really important and wonderful day. I'm so proud that we're all here together to celebrate the culmination of this partnership. And I would just encourage everyone, even if you don't know if you can qualify, call. Call. It's the first step. It's an easy process. We'll help walk you through it. It's 313-244-0274. And we have folks from Rock Connections, one of our affiliate companies at the Rock family of companies, who are there and waiting and trained to walk you through the process. So really excited to be here. Thank you all, and look forward to working with as many Detroit residents as possible to not only keep you in your homes, but keep you safe in your homes. Thank you.
All right, live 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And with that, we'll take any questions.
Hi, I know you said that 500 people, you're aiming for 500 people, but is that
1,000 people to
1,000
start with.
people? Is that your estimate of how many people you think are eligible for this?
No. No, we suspect by the time we're done, you may have 15 or 20,000 eligible. We'll see how many need home repairs. We know today 12,000 have a HOPE exemption. Some percentage of those need a roof. Is it 1,000? Is it 2,000? We're not sure yet. Maybe it's 3,000. Plus people who might get a HOPE exemption in the next 6 weeks. So that's who's going to be eligible.
Two other quick questions. Do you have an estimate of how much you think it costs to fix a roof? How much you may spend, and why the 30 million amount overall?
So the 30 million was set by council, but basically we looked at the contractor capacity in this city. How much could we spend in 3 years? And anybody who's tried to get a home repair worker in this town lately knows it's not that easy. And I'm going to ask Heather to come up and talk about the roof repairs, and she'll tell you how to spell her last name when she gets here. And Heather can tell you how much she expects each roof to be, but she's been managing construction on multiple programs for a while. Heather, why don't you introduce yourself and spell your name?
Hi, everybody. I am Heather Zygmuntovich, also known as Heather Z to every single other person in this room. My last name, if you would like it, is Zygmontowicz. So I'm the Chief of Special Housing Programs at the City of Detroit. I've been working with Julie and Donald and the mayor and Laura for many, many years on construction-related initiatives. So I have done significant vacant home rehabs as well as home repairs. And the way that we go out to bid for these in order to increase the capacity in the manner that we spoke about today is we go out in bulk. So a huge part of this is our ability to actually go out and say, I'm going to procure 1,000 roofs, as opposed to walking up to an individual house and saying, this individual needs a new roof, bid this one. So if you're thinking about how much does it cost to repair a roof, your individual house, you may quickly say $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. We actually have contracts in place right now that allow us to repair a roof of about 1,000 square foot home, anywhere from $7,000 to $13,000. Now, we're obviously in a very interesting environment right now with construction materials and with labor prices. So I don't know for sure that those numbers will stay in place by the time we go out to bid for this program. So we've estimated it at the high end of that, at $13,000 as an average, and given us quite a bit of room of contingency, because obviously we're not going to go to a house, start a roof and not finish. We will always have to finish that roof, and we're making sure that we're replacing the entire thing so that these homes truly are in a better spot when we finish.
Thank you.
Okay, you can tell who the brains of the operation is.
Hi, can you share a little bit more about just the scale of repair needs in Detroit, whether that's home repairs or regardless? Can you share a little bit more details about that?
You know, what we know is we have 1,900 people on a wait list now. That wait list started, I think, probably in 2014. And so we're going to see how deep it runs. And so rather than guess, we figured we would open this up for a month. And at the end of the month, we'll know a lot more. And we'll see what phase 2 looks like. If it turns out we've got more contractor capacity, we may come back a year from now and enlarge this program even more. If it turns out we're having trouble getting enough contractors, we may have to slow it down a little bit. But at this point, all I can tell you is by February, we will know a lot more about the need in this city than we do today.
And then just a quick follow-up. You may have already answered this, but do we know what phase 2 could entail? Like, what are some of the repair needs that Detroiters have expressed that this could address?
Well, I would say electrical systems and plumbing systems would certainly be the two that we would like to get to next. Interestingly, there are a number of different programs that will fund a new plumbing system. They won't fund it for a house that's leaking from the roof. And so this will actually unlock a number of other grant programs. So we're going to come back a year from now, and whether we do more roofs, whether we go to electrical systems, we're going to make that decision in a year. But as I said, nobody's tried to go out for bid for 1,000 home repairs at once, certainly not in the city of Detroit. I don't know any place where they've done it, but certainly never here. So we're going to wait and see how this first 1,000 goes, and we're going to build capacity from there. I've talked to a number of philanthropic groups that say if we've really got the capacity to do more, I think there's going to be a lot of interest adding to this $30 million.
Great, thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Well, given what happened this week regarding council, I think, can you give reassurance that contract money is being safely monitored and free from bribery?
But let's be clear, there is no claim that any contract was affected by bribery. Not at all. In fact, in 8 years, I can't think of a single case where a competitively bid contract was an issue. I'll talk about this towing longer than anybody wants to hear, but in 2011, towing was taken out of the procurement process and put into a Board of Police Commissioners permitting process, something which I've got 75% unwound and will shortly have 100% unwound. But this has been my issue all along. The towing never went through a contracting process. I think it had gone through a contracting process, I don't believe we'd have the issues. But there is no evidence of any contract, certainly in the last 7 years, where there's been any claim of bribery.
Is there a specific, agency or department that is overseeing ARPA money? I mean, in terms of how it's spent and things like that?
Jay Rising, the Chief Financial Office, has a full compliance operation, and then all bidding is done by the procurement department. But if you want an in-depth discussion, Jay Rise would be glad to take you through it. But it's a pretty remarkable process. For the $700 million, if a department head wants to have a project approved, and council's approved the guidelines, first they have to go to the Detroit CFO and get the project approved. Then they have to go to an outside agency, and that outside agency, a CPA firm called UHY, certifies that that project meets the federal criteria. Then they go through an internal bidding process that's signed off by the procurement department. Then they go to another outside agency called AECOM to certify that the measurements that are in there match the measurements requirements of the American Rescue Plan Act. And then it goes to City Council for approval. So there is an extraordinary compliance program of 5 steps built into this. And the home repair roof program will be the first one that gets through all 5 steps, and that's why we're announcing it today.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you all very much.